Uh, Hello, everybody. Wanted to do a video. I'm on the road in the sunshiny state of Florida. And I wanted to do a video, and this is gonna be a quick video because my phone just let me know I only got 50. Oh, I got a charger right here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so look, if you're looking for polished YouTube videos, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not what you're gonna get here. Um, Now in a few years, now once I blow up, hold on. Once I blow up, then I'll be doing, professional stuff, and y'all gonna be like, oh, she Hollywood now. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a bag and get my teeth fixed. I'm gonna lose some weight because I felt like I'm starting to get two chins. But anyway, that's another video. So I wanted to do a video to just talk about a little, well, about why I became a CPR instructor. Okay, because it hit me that I feel like I would be missed if I didn't try to speak to myself, if I didn't try to speak to the person who is out there and who is, like me. So in 2011, on my 30th birthday, I had a hemorrhagic stroke. Had a terrible headache and laid down to take a nap so I could sleep it off. Woke up, 3 days later in the ICU, fully intubated in the whole nine. Um, Long story short, you know, that was in June. By October of that year, I graduated from college with my bachelor's in human services. 30 years old. I have been in the human services field since 2000 was my first job working with individuals with developmental disabilities. And so at this point, it's 2011. I have that experience. I have my degree. At the time, I was in Gurney, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago. After I graduated in October of 2011, I moved back down to Atlanta because I just wanted to be down there. The weather, the people, and I'm like, hey, I got my bachelor's degree. It's going to be no problem me finding a job, right? Wrong, okay? So listen. So what I found out when I moved to Atlanta was that being a black girl with a bachelor's degree is a freaking dime a dozen. You're not going to find a job, right? So couldn't find a job, or I could find jobs, but they were the same jobs that I was getting like before I graduated. You know what I'm saying? So here it was. I had a bachelor's in human services, and what happened was that once the economy tanked, when it comes to social services, right? All of so like when you have a bachelor's degree in psychology, sociology, human services, you're qualified to be a case manager, right? You have to at least have a bachelor's degree to be a case manager. But when the economy tanked, a lot of your master degree people came down into the bachelor degree level, right? So the same $15 they would pay me with a bachelor's degree, the company could now pay this person with a master's degree and bill the state a higher rate. So what they're charging the state for somebody who has a master's degree for services is more than what they can charge for somebody with a bachelor's degree, but they can charge that master degree person, or they can pay them the same amount that they would pay me. So that left a lot of people who got that bachelor's degree, like I said, criminal justice, social services, biology, sociology, human services, all of us, we kind of, didn't necessarily want to be therapists, but we at least want to be case management. It really messed us up, right? So anyway, so I'm sitting in my office at my house and I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't want to be a nurse. That's first of all. I did not want to be an RN. Can anybody hear me out there? I don't know. Listen, it's a lot of people where when their careers didn't work out, whether it be real estate, construction, whatever the case, they went to the medical field. And I know that sounds strange coming from somebody who's a CPR instructor, but hear me out here, right? I did not want to go to school to be a RN for 2 years because, first of all, by that time I was 30. I had four children. I needed the money right now. I can't afford to sit in school for 2 years. It's going to take me 2 years to get that money. And then on top of that, once I become an RN, I got to work 12-hour shifts. I got to be on my feet. I got to be Working nights, holidays, weekends. I got 4 kids. I just don't want to do it. I mean, more power to those of you who, but I'm not the type of person that's gonna go after something just because they make money. I gotta make it make sense at this age. You know what I'm saying? I was 30 at the time. I'm 37 now. So anyway, I didn't want to go for nursing, right? So I'm sitting thinking, what is it that I can do to where it's not gonna cost me a lot of money to get it? Because at this time, I owe student loans just from getting my bachelor's degree. I probably owe the government, like, we ain't gonna talk about what I owe the government. I just owe them, okay? I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't want to get into something that was gonna take me a long time. And so I'm just thinking, like, what can I do? And at the time, I just wanted to add something to my resume so that I could get a job. That's the crazy part. That's how I know that it's other people out there like me, because I know what I thought and the misconceptions that I had about CPR, and I was intelligent. It's not like I'm dumb. I had a degree. Okay, I had worked in human services for years and years and years, worked with people who had developmental disabilities and everything. So I'm not dumb, but I wasn't informed. And so I know it's other people out there that's just not informed, and I really want y'all to know, because this stuff is cool. So anyway, so I need to get better video equipment, don't I? They be having tripods and lights and stuff. I gotta get my listen, anyway. So I'm sitting here thinking, what is it that I can do, right? That's not gonna cost a lot of money, that's not gonna take me a lot of time. And as I'm sitting there thinking, all of a sudden I just have like the light bulb moment that Oprah talks about. And I was like, you wanna know something? Everybody that's ever taught me CPR was not always the smartest person in the room. I wonder what I gotta do to become a CPR instructor. Maybe I can become a CPR instructor, and then I can add that to my resume, and then somebody, because like I said, I was working in human services with people who had teenagers with behavioral issues, individuals with, oh, look at the bikers living their best life on this Christmas weekend. Individuals who had developmental disabilities and things like that. So, I'm like, if I become an instructor, then they'll hire me, and then I can work in admin. Because that was the thing, y'all. You got to remember now, if we go back, I had a stroke. So after I had my stroke, going back into the mental health field and having to deal directly in a residential facility with, teenagers that you had to do physical takedowns with and stuff like that. Like, I just did not have the patience for it anymore. I didn't have the mental patience for it anymore. I mean, I felt like if I would have stayed in the field, I would have been one of those people that would have got caught on camera choking a teenager up. Listen, I don't know what everybody else YouTube page be on, but I keeps it real over here. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I used to work with people with developmental disabilities early on, but my core, like who I really love working with, is teenagers. And so my core group of demographic that I was working with was teens in residential treatment that, have severe behavior issues where, you do have to do physical takedown. My biggest thing was being able to verbal de-escalate. Usually when I have to do a physical takedown, it would be because of another dumbass staff member, who didn't tick this boy off when you could have just gave him the damn cookie, whatever. So anyway, I had to get out of the field, right? But I still was like, okay, I don't want to be direct care anymore, but maybe if I become a CPR instructor, then at least that'll get me in the admin office, right? So I will never forget, like, I took my CPR, like I Googled it. I thought about it. I Googled it. I found out how easy it was. 2 weeks later, I'm sitting in an instructor class. Like, okay. So after the instructor class, I remember asking my CPR instructor, or the lady who taught my class, I said, okay, so what do I do now in order to teach? Do I just, do I sign up with a company? Like, how do I, and she just kind of looked at me kind of strange, and she was like, no, you teach CPR. So what you're going to do is you're going to find students and then teach them, and then you can teach them from home, or you can get an office. And I remember she had an office, and I would look at her office, and I remember telling her, like, I really want to get, like, this office that you have. This is great. I really like this. And she would always tell me, like, girl, teach out of your house for as long as you can. This ain't nothing but overhead. And back then, I thought maybe she was just trying to stop my shine. But now, 7 years later, after I've had several offices, I get exactly what she's saying. You know what I mean? Like, keep your overhead low. But anyway, so after that, I became an instructor. I was still working a job, but my plan was to just go PRN at my job and then, work the CPR full time. But then kind of, if I, had a short month, then I would pick up PRN. Well, so I did this for 3 months. And then when I was having a short month, I said, okay, let me pick up some hours. Come to find out, the job that I thought I was PRN on had actually fired me. I didn't even know they had fired me. They thought that I was turning in a letter of resignation. I said, no, I wasn't resigning. I just was wanting to go PRN. But anyway, so long story short, I got left with nothing but the CPR. So I started working it, but you got to think of, like, listen, I'm going to be real with you. The hardest thing, especially if you're not a business person, like if you come from a business background, that's, you just need the CPR training, to be honest, and you can figure out the rest. It's business, right? But if you come from a background of being an hourly worker, the hardest thing is changing your mindset, right? And sometimes in order to change your mindset, you have to be put in certain situations. So I became a CPR instructor in April 2012, right? By, April 2014 is when I actually started doing full time and I stopped playing around with it. So from April 2012 to April 2014, I would teach CPR but then get a job. Teach CPR but then get a job. Teach CPR but then get a job. And what I realized is that what I was doing is that when I was teaching CPR, I didn't have the same faith in myself that I had in the job, right? And so that would force me to look for a job, right? But then here's the thing. When I would get the job, my very first day of work, I would clock in 6 o'clock in the morning. And I would sit down, right? So as soon as I clocked in, I would just feel like, what is you doing? You know what I'm saying? What is you doing? Because my degree is in human services, guys. Like I said, if you're a nurse or something like that and you make $20,000, $30,000 an hour, again, this video is not for you. It's not. I'm talking to those of us out there who will have a whole degree and for some reason can't get no more than between $10 to $15 an hour. Once you get in your 30s and you have children and responsibilities and stuff, you can't live off of that. That's not enough. And then, $10 ain't enough. And then $15 is just enough to not be on welfare. But because you're not on welfare, all your bills go towards everything that you need. So yeah, I would sit there, and I would be making, the last job that I had, I remember I was making $14 an hour. Which was good for Georgia standards. Don't get me wrong, for Georgia, 14 is pretty decent, especially for a human services job. But I had to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so from 6 to 2, that's 8 hours, right? So when we do the math on that, 8 hours, 8 times 10 is 40, 8 times 10 is 80. 4 times 8 is 32 plus the 80. And I'm doing the math in my head. Like this is like how I'm going through it right now. I will literally be sitting up there going through the math, and I'll be like, okay, so then by the time they take in taxes out, and by the time I pay for gas and my lunch, I'm only making like $100. I'm only making like $100. And when I teach CPR, I can make $100 in a couple hours. And have the rest of the day to myself, and then I don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I had to literally go through, you know what I'm saying? I had to go through that. So when it comes to CPR, because like I say, now 7 years later, I do instructor classes. I actually teach people and certify them to become instructors. And I can teach you how to become an instructor, but I can't get you out of your way. I can't change your thinking. You have to change your own thinking. And you can't tell me that it's people that's not thinking like that, because I know that's how I used to think. Hell, sometimes now, even still, I've proven to myself that I can make the money. I made 6 figures this year, and I still sometimes wonder if I'm doing the right thing. But that's because I was a worker for far longer than I was a business owner. You know what I'm saying? So I became a CPR instructor full time because, one, I had my stroke, so my energy level wasn't the same to work with my demographic. And then two, in January of 2013, I had left my husband. So after I had my stroke, it was two things that had to go. Because I couldn't be stressed out. You know, after having a major stroke like that, I couldn't be stressed out. So it was two things that had to go. The husband and the job had to go. Kids can't go. I got to keep them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's really why I started teaching CPR, because I needed control over my schedule. I needed control over my life. When I'm not feeling well, I need to be able to sit down. When the kids' schools called, which now they homeschool, but that's a whole nother video too, y'all. I'm getting out of the matrix, man. But anyway, back then, you know, being a new single mother with 4 children, you got daycare, you got the school. If your child got the sniffles, they want you to come pick your child up. Your job only give you so many days off. You know what I'm saying? And so have that stress of, and then like I said, I didn't have a stroke. Now you got to remember this. So stress affects me differently now than what it used to affect me before, because everybody gets stressed out. But with me having a stroke, which is basically a traumatic brain injury, I get tired from thinking. If I do too much thinking, I get tired. So I needed something to where I could make enough money to sustain myself, because I'm not going to be selling Avon. No offense to anybody who is an Avon rock star, but that margin is not high enough for me. I don't want to do multi-level marketing. I don't want to do, call center from home. And here's the thing. The reason why I know that I don't want to do these things is because I tried them all. I've tried them all. When the Body Magics first came out, artists, like the corsets, the very first artist was the one that popped this off. Let's never mistake. Artist was the one that popped it off. I've sold those Body Magics before. I've sold Avon before. I've signed up to do direct sales for like cleaning products or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. I've signed up for the credit card processing business. It's a couple multi-level marketing things that I didn't, took a peek at. So I'm not knocking it, but I also know that in order to maximize your profit in those things, you have to work really hard. And I don't want to work that hard. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't. Even to some days with the CPR, I don't really be feeling like working that hard. But what I like about the CPR is that it gives me that freedom to where if I want to take time off, I can do that. And then when I jump back in, because my margins are high, I can recover quickly. You know what I'm saying? I have the same problems that everybody else have to where, maybe on Wednesday I didn't know how I was going to pay my car payment. I'm like, dang, how am I paying my car payment? I don't even got the money. But I got it today. You know what I'm saying? When you work a job, it take you a week or two. Oh, I got to wait till my check. I don't got to wait till my check. So that means I spend money different. I make money different. I think about my bills differently. I'm less stressed about my bills. Me having a stroke made me really had to reevaluate what I allow to stress me out. And one thing I am not going to let stress me out is a job. I'm not letting nobody's job stress me out to the point to where I have a stroke. Stress me out. I mean, y'all got to think about it. I got 4 kids, right? Even if I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, I'm working. You got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning so that you can get your kids up, to school, whatever, drop them off, so that you could be at work by 8 o'clock, and then you get off at 5. You got to rush to pick them kids up before 6 o'clock, or else daycare going to be charging you these astronomical amounts of money. And then once you pick them kids up, okay, now it might be around 6 o'clock. Oh my goodness. God forbid you're a procrastinator like me and you didn't buy shit and you got to stop at the grocery store. Okay, you're not getting home till 7 o'clock at night, right? Then you get home, you still got to cook. You probably got to clean up because you left the house a freaking mess before you left. lo and behold, they got homework, especially if you got a trash daycare that don't do that for you. So you're pretty much ripping and running. You feed the kids, you get them into bed. They're not getting into bed till like maybe 9, sometimes 10 o'clock at night. And now finally it's time for your downtime. You know that you should be going to sleep because you got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But you're like, dang, I have not spent no quiet time to myself all day. So I'm going to stay up for maybe another hour, watch me some Love and Hip Hop, mess around with Words with Friends, So you might not go to bed till like 11 o'clock at night. So you're pretty much ripping and running on your feet from 6 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night. And me being somebody who had a stroke, I knew that work schedule was not going to work for me with 4 children. I was going to mess around and have another stroke. So with my health, like I said, and then having, control of my personal schedule when it comes to managing my children as a single mother, that is why I started teaching CPR full time. And then the last job that I had in Georgia, I actually got fired from that job, or lost it. We're just gonna leave it at that. But I had to let that job go, and that was the last job that I worked. And that was when I made it up in my mind that I was not gonna allow my finances to be controlled by anybody but me, right? So when my money is low, because I teach CPR, when my money is low, I know that my money is low because of me, because of what I did. It's me. I control it. And so with me controlling it, it helps. It's less stressful. Don't get me wrong. I have stress still, but it's a different type of stress than those butterflies that you get in your stomach when you on a point system at work and you get caught by a train and this train is going to make you 5 minutes late for work. That feeling right there. Or dropping your kids off at the daycare. This daycare is kind of fishy, but you got to drop them off because you got to go to work. Like, I don't have that stress in my life anymore. So, I've exchanged it for another stress, but I feel like it's a different stress that is not as stressful as that. It doesn't mess with my head as much as that stress connected to work used to. So that's why I became a CPR instructor. So if you're, in a similar situation where, hey, I'm educated, I followed the rules, I did what I was supposed to do, I'm not earning the money that I feel like I should be earning, I'm not trying to be no RN, I want to make more money. Even if you are RN, honey, let me tell you something. My friend that's an RN, she did the instructor class with me. So she's an RN, she works Monday through Friday 8 to 5, but she was doing CPR classes on Saturday, and she used that money to put a down payment on her home. You see what I'm saying? So instead of her having to pick up extra hours or a second job and this, that, and third, she just started teaching CPR on the side and was able to use that money to get a home. So even if you are a nurse, man, whatever you are, if you are out there and you're looking for a way to make money that's not going to take too much of your time, that is actually fulfilling because you're helping other people, like, hit me up, okay? You can email me at cpr@firstchoiceest.org, and First Choice is the number 1 choice est.org, okay? So cpr@firstchoiceest.org, or if you want to comment below, you can. But I suggest that you email me because YouTube don't always let you know when you got comments. That's why I really don't like doing a lot of business on social media, but this is what the young folks like, so I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep a young OG, as Fab calls us, out here in the game. So you can also look me up on Facebook. But again, sometimes with the Facebook page, you don't always get messages. The best thing to do is to email me. Or you can also call me. The number is 1-800-229-444-7376, extension 700. 1-800-229-444-7376. No. Wait a minute. I got too many numbers. That's not the right number. Scratch that out. It's 1-800-299-0. Look on my damn website. Shoot, I'm old. I told you I done had a stroke. FirstChoiceEST.org. Bye, y'all. Get out of here. You know how to X out of this.